Jeez.
Why'd all y'all come in today? Weren't we just here yesterday? Wasn't yesterday Friday?
Sound like
What happened to Saturday and Sunday?
I'll tell you what happened to my Saturday.
I'm so confused.
It was
Good
warm.
morning, y'all. I'm Walter.
I'm Chris.
I'm Charlene.
And there's
I'm the dog
Peanuts.
man.
And there's Peanuts over there.
Peanuts over here.
There you go. Welcome to Live and Local Real Talk right here on Facebook and YouTube. 5 days a week, I think, still.
Yes.
So far, from 7 to 9. Hope you hang in there. And if you got something you want to say, feel free to say it.
Oops,
If you
sorry.
got something you want other people to hear, feel free to say it and call in. 910-333-0139. 910-333, Vanna, 0139. It's up here somewhere.
Oh,
And I see it over there, but they can't see that one.
I need to move that one.
See, I got that one over there so that I can see it.
Right. Yeah, which is good.
Because it just looks like I'm looking at y'all, but I'm actually looking beyond y'all to the
Sometimes
number
I
on the
get
wall.
confused over my own number and have to look.
I understand. Certainly seemed like the weekend flew by. I don't know about y'all, but my goodness gracious, I woke up this morning and it said, "Get up, it's Monday, dummy." I did a few productive things. I think those never-ending dollar weeds from my God knows.
There's too many.
Why do they call them dollar weeds?
Because they look like half dollars.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
It takes $1 to get rid of them.
Phew, I'd spend $1 worth of energy just to clear it out every day. I can pluck those suckers out of the ground. I can turn around and in the evening go back there and there's someone starting to come through again. I said, I killed you.
I've sprayed
I know
my
I
yard
did because
several
you're down
times.
in.
Are they green?
Yeah, they're
Little
green.
stem?
Yeah, a little stem. And
You can't kill them.
Little stand,
No.
it's about that big around at the
Yeah.
top. And-
Yeah, you have to spray
There's
them at the
chemical.
beginning of the season.
But you can't buy it unless you
No.
got a chemical license.
Yeah.
I had to spray a food field one time, and the guy bought, and I forgot how many thousands of dollars it cost him
But the
for
thing
me to
is,
spray it. But I did get rid of it.
but you kill everything else there forever.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
His
really?
Bermuda grass, it didn't bother.
Oh, well, I'm thinking about things that I can grow and eat.
Well, between the
No, you can't do it on food farm.
Phew.
between the dollar weed and the nutgrass,
Nutgrass.
yeah, it's called nutsoul or something. Anyway, it's the nutgrass.
It's a nut grass.
Oh man, I sprayed that. My backyard's all dirt.
Yeah.
But
Y'all know what fish emulsion is?
Yeah, I do now.
Mhm.
After you bought
my
it.
dogs would be out.
You were supposed to get some this weekend.
Oh, I got something else. But I put fish emulsion out on Saturday too. But then Saturday afternoon, I got my bag, 25-pound bag. I'm glad it came through Federal Express because it's 25-pound bag of white powder.
Let's not talk about that.
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
the postal
my
inspectors might have spelled something a little bit fishy.
White powder closed the main office down one time,
Uh-huh.
and it wasn't even powder; it was dust.
And the guy, it's a great bag this stuff is in. However, they put it in a box and put a little bit of cellophane tape over it. Not much, just a little bit. And I'm pretty sure FedEx had to retape it because it was still splitting open. But it came intact. There was just a few remnants, dust bowls or something at the bottom of the box. So if anybody visits us from the LEO community, don't worry about it. If you want to taste it, do like those idiots do on TV, the cops do on TV. Oh, let's see. That's heroin. Let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's heroin. Yeah, huh? What's that? Fentanyl. That's all it takes. See ya.
It's funny that you say. I spilled some powdered sugar on the counter just the other day and just start laughing. I was thinking, if somebody was to walk in right now, I should have taken a knife and made lines in it or something.
Take your nose down there. Just so as they walk
Rub a
in.
little bit on my face.
You didn't have a rolled up dollar bill or a
Yeah, could have
Got a
done that.
Straw.
Could have done that. Yeah.
I'm trying something I've been watching on several YouTube channels. I started a week ago or so, a little bit more than a week ago. And I get this powder. Got it. You mix the powder. Put 3 cups of it in a gallon of water, and you shake it, and you shake it, and you shake it. It dissolves.
Fascination with powder lately. Go ahead.
And then fill up the bottle so you get a whole gallon in.
Right.
And then you put it in a sprayer. Well, it says to get yourself one of those sprayers that you pump it up and you spray. Well,
Yes.
I have one,
Mhm.
but it's had poison in it.
Yeah.
And I don't trust anything I've ever put some of your poison in. You gave me the formula, and it includes multiple kinds of mass killing type of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Things that you buy you can't buy it all in one store, or they'll report you to the feds.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they will. Anyway, it's got a lot of bad stuff in it, and it works wonders.
What is it used for? You failed to mention that.
Torture. But anyway,
Removing freckles. Okay.
Well, it removes everything. But anyway, the stuff that I got, I've got to go buy because all I had was a little bottle.
Yeah.
That you pump. Oh no. I mixed it, put it in there, and I sprayed every leaf on the top and on the bottom, all the stems, and it's a clay.
What?
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of it, but it mixes. Comes in a powder. It's clay and magnesium or whatever else it's got in it, and it dissolves pretty easy. Then you spray it. It's like those weights that you get. But I sprayed every leaf on there. It took about an hour on the top, the bottom, and the stems. I
Okay.
will have a sprayer before the day's over.
Oh yes.
I will have a sprayer. It's about a 5-minute job with a sprayer, an hour with a hand pump.
So
And what it does, it coats it, and you walk out in my bed out there, and you'll see a lot of white area
Your
over
garden.
the garden.
Garden bed.
The gardens. And you see all those bushes are covered in white plants.
Okay.
And when it forms up, when it dries, it's a really thin layer of clay,
I
special
know
clay.
why. I know why.
And then you ain't gonna get nothing will penetrate it.
Not sunshine, not rain.
Well, it slows down. Well, rain will wash it off,
Right.
but not immediately. So you have to reapply it every about 2 weeks after the first couple of applications, because the stuff grows and it
Yes.
expands and it pops out of
Let
its
me know
shell.
how it does.
It also is good, they say, when you're living in an area like this, where during the July and August, when it gets so blasted hot out here, your
Living
plants
on the
get
sun.
sunburned, your fruit gets sunburned, your veggies get sunburned. You can have this over it, and it acts like an SPF 500.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to use it on my
anxious to
arms
see
next
how
time I go out and see what happens.
See how it does. Yeah.
But
I will tell you that rain we had last week, my garden is beautiful right now.
Watch out for the bugs underneath
I
those
know.
leaves.
I've been watching.
Go out and find those little specks there. If you see any holes in the leaves that are out there,
I'll come get some of your powder.
You've got them.
Yep, look for your Japanese beetles.
Just don't ruin it for me now.
No.
My biggest problem, and Tim, I almost called you this weekend because I knew if you didn't know, your wife would know. How the heck can I get these moles out of my backyard? They are tearing up
You
my
can't. Oh,
Rat terrier.
what?
Get your little rat terrier.
I do have two of
You
them.
know,
They're
it's where
chicken.
you feed them too much.
Well, and
They're
the
chicken
littlest
livered.
one digs holes so deep as he's up to his eyes in the hole.
They
But
got to stay out at nighttime when the moles are running across the grass underneath.
yeah, they've been bringing them in the house. And those
Yeah,
are cute.
man.
No, I did spray the
They'll be
backyard twice with a type of spray that's got castor oil in it
Mhm.
because it's supposed to chase them out. But
Well,
yesterday
That's just a mess.
I ordered those sonic things that you stick in the ground.
Oh, no.
We're going to try that.
You can catch. Sometimes you can catch them with the old mole traps.
No, I'm not doing
I
that.
gotta go through it to
no,
do it.
No,
Yeah.
not doing it.
I've
Not
used that.
doing
That
it.
was fun. What?
Yeah, so all of a
No.
sudden you be in the yard. It's like, well, it got one.
Yeah,
when
then
he-
you have to take them out and take.
When he gets them good.
Yeah, I'm
They're
not doing that.
impaled.
now I use the worms. I look for their main tunnel.
Yeah.
So if
My
you stomp,
problem is my dog.
your
He
dog
will
knows where
dig
the
up
main
the
tunnel is.
worm.
Oh.
I know he'll dig it
Okay.
up and eat it.
So stomp down on the ground.
Mhm.
Oh,
See
I
if it
know where the
pops back
tunnels
up.
are. I know where.
Now, you
And
can
then
do
stick
like
the worm inside.
you can
Deep
do
down.
like Elmer Fudd used to do,
I'm
and
gonna
put
have to
the
get
water
some chewing
hose
gum.
in one end of the tunnel, and it will drown them and run them out the other
Well,
end.
look.
You can hit them with a shovel.
When I mowed the yard Friday, it was like bum 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 bum. I thought I had a flat tire. It's because the yard is so uneven now.
Yeah.
It's hot. It's getting worse, and I'm just like,
I think the
And
gum.
take shotgun out there.
I think the gum's a myth
Elmer
too.
Fudd did that.
No,
too.
I've used the gum before and it worked.
Double mint.
Yeah, you have to get the yellow juicy fruit.
Well, the other thing you can do, they used to be illegal, but you could go down to South Carolina and come back with a bucket full of peanuts.
Fireworks. Oh, peanuts.
Peanuts.
Oh, yeah, they sell
And they were
those too.
poison peanuts.
Right.
But now they didn't let it. You couldn't do it in North Carolina for the longest time. But I saw some the other day, some store where I was, get your peanuts here for those moles.
Last
For your
year,
pest.
I spent a lot of money on my backyard, put down a lot of seed, a lot of stuff, and right now
Stray cats will dig them up. Too.
I have a cat that didn't. I was at the
If they hungry enough.
sink one day washing a few things, and I felt the cat sitting next to me. When I looked down, he had a mole laying right next to my
Well,
bare
good.
foot.
Go get them.
Send it back for more.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got.
I just
probably
wanted to run
4
away.
Stray cats running around, and I feed them just so that, and one of them stays under the house half the time.
My cat's so old
So
now.
I-
He's like, nope.
Feed them about
No
half as
moles?
much as they need.
No
and they'll
moles?
Take care of
I don't
it.
have any. I don't have a mole problem. I
Not
really
anymore.
don't.
I've got a pond and woods, and I heard that was
I have
Causes a
a
lot of
huge
good-
city
Yeah.
ditch
What do
right
you got?
behind my house. Yeah. Oh, I
City,
could blame it on the city.
city what?
It's a big ditch that
Oh,
runs
wow.
along behind the line that I'm on.
Yeah.
Maybe if I call them, tell them to take their moles back.
Hey, y'all left a bunch of moles out here. Come get them.
I want to talk to you about some moles.
Yeah.
They'll say, "Lady, call JPD."
Call animal control.
It's not a whole.
Shit.
If you try to get it to natural. If you got stray cats and people hate stray, and I understand why. I do. You get all over your car and they pee in your vent and do all this mess. But now I've got a herd of rabbits, a bunch of squirrels, a bunch of cats hanging around the house. I even feed the cats. I go out there and feed them.
Also
And
known as
I
Marlin
don't have a
crickets.
snake problem. I don't have a mouse problem in the house. I don't have mole problems.
Well, these new sonar stakes are supposed to scare away. It's supposed to.
Let me know how that works.
Yeah, I
for
want to
you.
hear
I don't know. We'll see.
Used to,
I'll try
they
anything
started
right
that,
now.
They started that electronic crap in the house
Yeah.
about keeping the mice out. That lasted about a year. They got
Yeah.
used to it, and I think they sit there and sing along with it.
Oh my gosh!
That's a silly
I don't
age
know.
for them.
If you hear about an explosion in Northwood, you know I got the dynamite out.
There's some disturbing news
Yes.
yesterday developing. Former President Joe Biden, who's learned over the weekend that he received a report last Friday that he has prostate cancer.
Bless him.
Everybody's panicking. And men his age,
Mhm.
in all truthfulness, that's not an unusual discovery.
Right.
1 out of every 8 men, there are 3 of us here,
Yeah.
1 out of 8 men will get a similar diagnosis at some point in time in their lifetime. In Biden's case, the cancer is spread into his bones, and that makes it a bit more concerning.
Mhm.
But doctors point out that the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management, they say. They didn't say it cures it. They ain't going to cure it. Death cures it, period. When you get to the point that you're going to be going, then you'll take that with you. Biden and his family have been discussing his treatment options. This is not the first time that Biden has been dealt a blow with cancer. He had cancer 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Former White House physician Kevin O'Connor said back in February 2023 that skin tissue was removed during a health assessment Biden received and was sent for a biopsy, which was revealed it was cancerous. Okay, all of the cancerous tissue was removed, and the president was then given a clean bill of health. I went through that about 4 years ago. Right there.
That's it last
And
year.
they got there and they cut and cut and cut. They pulled and pulled. And I thought, y'all just can you get some better pliers?
I had 2 spots removed last year.
I just had the one a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years
Still
ago.
got-
Hopefully, the doctors will be able to work on a treatment plan that will allow the 82-year-old former president to live a normal life for whatever time he has left. That's the bottom line. Okay? We all live under a death sentence. The day we're born, we're dying.
Right.
We've been born, so now we got to die. That's the next process.
Sure.
How long it takes, that's just depends upon us and
Good
a
Lord.
lot of things that you got going for yourself.
Yeah.
And also there's wrecks and things that are out there. That's about the best that any of us can hope for as we go through what some call our golden years. I'm still waiting for the gold to show up from these golden years.
It's called fool's gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, I
what
should
it's
get plenty of that then, because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a fool. Just bring it on. I'll take it. I'd like to have it in $20 gold pieces. Dating many, many, many moons ago.
Charlie.
But what I don't understand before Charlie comes on is the correlation they're trying to make now between what he has now, which is just discovered as prostate cancer, and what his mental condition was for
Trying to
to
fade
8
it out.
years ago.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
two different things.
There's so many.
Wag the dog.
Yeah.
Is that a good
Yeah.
way to put it?
That's a good way to put it.
Uh-huh.
It's-
Wag
yeah.
the dog.
Okay. Good morning, sir. How are you? Or ma'am?
Charlie,
Yeah. Maybe it's a ma'am. Hey, listen, I'm going to call into your show. I'm going to watch your guys' show. But I just want to say something regarding Joe Biden's brain. May I say something?
Go right ahead.
Okay, all of you are very, very jealous of his cognitive abilities. Obviously, he was very strong. Mentally, he was stronger than all of you combined. And I think it's really sad that you guys are attacking him. And I think maybe you should take a look at.
When did we attack him?
Yeah, when did I? Yeah, what have we said to attack him this morning? What part? Give me the sentence.
Hey, you know what?
He's being
Honestly,
facetious.
I think we can all agree that the whole thing was a scam. I can't wait for an insider that was inside that camp to break down everything. Just say, listen, Joe Biden was beyond incompetent.
Yeah.
We had hundreds of people supporting him.
Yep.
Maybe it was Barack Obama. Maybe it was Harris. There's another woman behind the scenes. Who was that woman that was that controlled Obama's campaign? I forgot her name. African American lady.
Mrs.
I don't
Obama,
remember her name.
Michelle
The
Obama.
whole, no, it's not Michelle. It was another woman. Susan. No, I think it was Susan
Maxine
Harris.
Waters.
Oh, God.
I know who you're talking about, Susan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know who you're talking about, Charlie. Just the name.
Somebody controlled. Somebody. No. I'm not. You listen. I call when I say stupid things all the time. I'm going to say something stupid right now. But I think her name was Susan Harris. I think that she was one of the top people in Obama's presidency. Obviously, this guy was incompetent. And it's really sad that, you see all the Chuck Schummers and Elizabeth Warrens, they all come out saying, he's one of the sharpest guys I've ever been around. He's a very smart guy, okay? I've been around lots of smart people, but this guy's brain is intact. No. I can't wait to the full story. Come on.
Well, I'm at this point in time, until he's passed, until things, just go away, I don't really know who cares anymore. I mean, Charlie does. Yeah, we're all interested in knowing what the real truth is, but there's probably not one person, not at least anybody who's will acknowledge it. I don't think there's one person out there in this country who really believes that Joe Biden was his brain was functioning 100%. I don't believe there are many people out there that think during his entire 4 years in office as president that he was functional 50% of the time.
Well,
So
he's
you guys, I'm not sure if you guys have followed this with regards to his cancer. About 3 or 4 years back, and you can find this on I think certain websites. He mistakenly said that he has cancer. He got it because of something that he was exposed to as a child. His brother also said something about he has cancer. From my understanding, when somebody has prostate cancer, the type of cancer that Joe Biden has, it's not something that just pops up immediately. Evidently, they know years beforehand. So, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist person. It turns out that they knew that he had this type of cancer, and they had doctors in the White House. I'm not a conspiracy theorist here, Charlie. Listen, you're going off on this ghost hunt chain. They knew that he had cancer previously, and the whole thing is bizarre. You talk about Chuck Elizabeth Warren. You see these politicians saying he's the sharpest person who's ever been around. He's as sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
It's really sad that these people.
It was sad when he was in office and they were covering for him. They were covering for him just like a mother covers for her child, okay? It doesn't matter. And that's what they were doing. They all knew, and they were not going to do anything to diminish, tarnish his image at the time, because the Democrats really needed him to be in office. They had no one else. And as it turned out, they had no one else at the end of his first term. They tried, and that failed miserably. If they had acknowledged and they had done the right thing about 2 years into his presidency, it would have been a different story. And that was the original plan. But Biden bucked the Democrats' original plan, and that was for him to serve 2 years, and then they put somebody else in.
Mm-hmm.
He bucked it.
He really thought that he could win.
Yeah,
he really did.
That should have been a sign to everybody. And he thought that he could win.
And the thing about it is, in 4 to 8 years, especially if we're still we'll find out the whole truth.
Yeah, we will.
In 4 to 8 years, Charlie. And by the way, Charlie, before you get started, if you followed the show, I told, what was it, Thursday, we had a new donkey at my farm. You remember? Were you listening when we talked about that?
I don't recall.
Okay, we had it. Well, wait a minute. My wife, we came down with 3 names, and you won.
Oh, really? What?
Yep, she wanted to name him Charlie.
She's naming the new one Charlie.
Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
I lost out.
You and AC lost out.
What did I win? What did I win?
We named our new donkey at the farm. We raised miniature donkeys.
You have a son.
And now you have a son named Charlie. He's 4-legged. He's pretty. And we name them human names. We don't name them, just
Old Blue.
Yeah, we don't name Blue Rover, stuff like that. But she came down. She picked the last 3 names was AC, Rayford, and Charlie. And you're
telling me. So hold on.
Yeah.
You're telling me the stupidity, the dumbness, the idiocracy, the absolute stupidity of me calling into your program as Charlie. You actually named an animal after me?
Yes, sir.
But it's nothing.
It's an honor. To us, it's an honor. It's not. I mean, it was one of the names. It came up, and you call yourself as Charlie, but she had that in the bowl. She pulled it out. She had 3 names left, and she pulled it out. And your name, your radio name won.
So I lost out to you, Charlie. I lost out by luck of the draw.
And I'm glad you called, because I couldn't wait to tell you.
Now you got to get those other donkeys busy.
Yeah.
You know what? I've called into hundreds of shows with my thing. Holy crap.
Charlie, we're going to have to do weather, but real quick, before we go, Charlie, how close to Sherman Oaks are you living?
I don't want to talk about where I live. Guys,
Well, you've already told us Los Angeles area or something.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
I'm just curious how close to Sherman Oaks do you live? I got something about Sherman.
I don't know. Maybe I could throw a rock and kick it, and it'll go next door to Sherman Oaks. Why Sherman Oaks?
Because I've got some things about the name Sherman, and I'll share that with you one day. Okay. So I was just concerned that you might be living
we were talking about Sherman Oaks the other day, and we were like, didn't Charlie say he lived in L.A., Hollywood, somewhere? Isn't that near Sherman Oaks? We'll have to ask Charlie. And I don't remember what it was we were talking about.
But I have something. They don't even know why I have something. Well, a couple of you Southerners know why I got something about Sherman.
Does it involve tanks?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, that's that. Okay,
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
We're just as confused, Charlie.
So, can I call back?
Absolutely. We're going to do some weather.
Right,
we got a couple of pieces of news we got to talk about, but call back later. So let's see at the offshore weather outlook. A cold front has stalled to our south, where it will meander for a couple of days. Northerly winds today, 5 to 10 knots, becoming southerly this afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet, pretty nice, 5 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers of light chop. Surf tips along the coast about 74 degrees and climbing. Good for the Spanish mackerel fishing. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming easterly in the afternoon, 2 to 3 footers. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon. And on Wednesday, Okay. Bigger boats are okay. Little boats stay in. 15 to 20 knot winds out of the southwest, gusts to 25. That can pop up in a heartbeat. Seas 2 to 4 feet. They're going to be kind of close together, but they're also going to get bigger in the afternoon. 4 to 6 in the afternoon Wednesday. If you go out in the mornings, plan to come in early. Okay. That's on Wednesday. Sounds and rivers will be choppy.
And today will be sunny with a high near 87. North wind around 5 miles per hour, becoming light and variable. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 66. Tuesday, a slight chance of late afternoon showers, mostly sunny with a high near 83. And Wednesday, an early morning chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 91.
Okay. The other story that is a major story, and it gets to be a politically major story here because of some stupidity. A late evening attempt by the Mexican crew of a Mexican tall ship, a training ship for the Mexican Navy, became a deadly disaster Saturday night. The 300-foot ship was cut loose from a dock. The lines were cast off on the New York waterfront, but got caught in the strong river current. And I mean, it's a whipping river current there, perhaps aided by a motor that wouldn't go into forward gear and was stuck in the backup gear, and it was headed for the Brooklyn Bridge. Whoops.
Oopsie.
What was really concerning was that the masts were too tall to clear the bridge. That means the bridge wasn't high enough. The top pieces of all 3 masts broke off just above the yard. What's the yard? Some call it the yard arm. It's that horizontal piece at the top of these masts goes horizontal. That's where the sails are dropped from. They don't raise the sails on those ships, the square rig ships. Yeah. Those are sails that are rolled up, and then there's people up there to unfurl them, they call it, and let them fall down. To drop those sails, crew members were on the yards. Tragically, 2 members of the young crew were killed, 19 others injured. I don't know where the 2 who were killed were. I don't know whether they fell from the rigging. I don't know. Anyway, one was a 19-year-old, I think, female. A number of other boats then sped towards the vessel and they managed to get it stopped before it hit the second bridge. Man. Before the dust cleared, the lame-brained Senator Chuck Schumer from New York posted stupid comments stating that President Trump and DOJ, the Department of Government Efficiency, have been, in his words, meddling with U.S. Coast Guard staffing. And then he pointed out that, again, in his half-brain words, Trump relieved Admiral Linda Fagan as Commandant of the USCG, and that position is still vacant, and the hiring freeze has limited the ability for the USCG to staff up the Vehicle Traffic Service. That's their traffic control operation that acts like air traffic control, but on water. We need action for our national security, infrastructure protection, and public safety. Wow!
What has that got to do with the Mexican ship?
Wow, in anything but a good way. The Coast Guard falls under the Department of Homeland Security. It was quick to respond to the idiot Schumer. The U.S. Coast Guard has been fully supported and been exempt from hiring freezes. I'll add the word idiot to it. Additionally, this incident had nothing to do with vessel traffic services. When a ship loses propulsion in a high current area, the vessel needs to engage all capabilities to stop, and ideally tugs are nearby to support. We encourage Minority Leader Schumer to get his facts straight before he misleads the American people. In case you don't know, tugboats are privately owned and operated. Y'all, I know. Ships requiring their services pay for those services. In this case, an onboard issue is what started the chain of events, had nothing to do with the Coast Guard. They are an enforcement and safety patrol group. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum called the tragedy an accident and added that she, her words, regrets that this is being used politically because it was an accident. Every person in New York, you voters, that has continued to support this loudmouth excuse for a senator should reconsider for future votes. But of course, you won't. And that is a national embarrassment. For New York, not for me. For New York.
He's a national. One thing, every weekend, he has nothing to do because he's always on television making a comment about something.
Why doesn't he? Why is he available? Because he makes himself available, and the other people are doing things at home like they're supposed to be doing.
Sadly,
He has no life.
one news report said that they were at the yard. They were at the yard, and
Likely.
that passed away. He's an idiot.
Yes, he's an idiot. Sue
I-
me, Chucky. Sue me. I think I can get a jury of 12,000 people to say that you are an idiot.
It just goes to show you, he gets selected, the AOC gets selected.
Yep.
Look what we got.
No, look what they
No,
got, and
look
look what we have to put up with.
Well,
They
yeah,
got it, but
that's
we
it.
put up with it.
and she allegedly is one of the front runners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know, make a shoe in for whoever's running against her.
Couldn't you see her trying to get NASA to go to the sun at night
Yeah.
because it's not as hot?
Yeah, why don't you get aboard that aircraft, that spacecraft there, AOC? You can drive.
Greatest thing I ever heard.
You'd be going the wrong way.
I don't care what the subject is. It could be a bad Super Bowl. It could be the weather. It's sunny and he's going to say it's cloudy. He's going to get on TV on the weekend and say something.
He has no life.
But the networks cover it. That's the
Because
problem.
they are
Well,
desperate.
he's-
It's a 24/7 news cycle, and they got to do something to fill it up with something other than leftover news. Weekends were awful to fill with the real news.
Well, yeah.
Just as a regular TV station.
Yeah.
Just to produce 2 newscasts a day on weekends is a pain because you're doing it with local news. Trying to do it 24/7 would be like, holy moly. We'll just get up there and do the weather around the clock. That'd be better than
Well,
trying to cover any news that's
when there
not
was
happening.
a group of Democrats out there doing protesting against Doge and Elon Musk involvement in our government, and Schumer was right there at the front.
Well, good. He found a place so he can get his picture took. Takes my picture.
I like to
Idiot.
see him jump on Charlie Kirk one time.
Oh man!
Charlie's pretty tough.
Oh, he is. I like
I
Charlie.
like
Kirk.
Charlie. I listen to Charlie. I follow
I'll give him
Charlie.
airtime
I
if
do
he wants to
too.
come down here. Not by phone, because I'll lock the
Charlie's
doors in
great.
here. He can't get out. And we'll just keep him captive and swear the door got stuck.
How many times that Charlie would do those open podcasts? Like he'd be outside and out on a sidewalk or street and be having kind of like a little town hall. And some of these young college students would come up and think they were going to argue with him. And he very politely,
Did you see the interview that he did with Bill Maher?
no, I did
Oh
not.
yeah, you need to watch
Oh, I'll
that.
have to watch that.
Bill Maher sucked up his cigar real quick.
I mentioned something on a local good, something sort of, it will be good
Okay.
tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
County commissioners meet tonight at 6:00.
Mhm.
Reese Across America is going to be there
Yay.
Nice.
for something special. I can't say what it is because it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be
I
something
know what it
This is
special.
what it's called, a tease, y'all.
I
Yeah.
know what it is.
But I want to say over the
I can never
weekend,
tell.
Yes, you will.
our local group
Give me the water board.
received over $500 in donations
Good.
Nice, wonderful.
on Saturday. But obviously, the county commissioner is going to be very busy this evening. We're hoping to be on
Oh,
before
Yeah,
that other stuff.
The melee, yeah.
Well, it
stuff.
depends. Yeah, hopefully before public comment because that's probably going to take a while.
Yeah.
We have,
Yeah.
I don't know, I heard so many different stories. I heard 6, I heard 5, I heard 4, I heard 3. But some of the volunteer fire departments have already signed the contract. I tried to
3 that
post
we can confirm.
3 that we can confirm for sure.
Yeah.
And I know they were urging public members to come out. I would urge those of you that are not too sure what's going on, go on to the Onslow County government website. They have a Facebook, they have a website. Read a lot of what this is all about. My understanding is there's some information that developed over the argument over all this that's being put out to the public that's not true, not by the county, but by somebody, and it's got a lot of people all stirred up. But I think sit back and look at both sides of it and make your
Yeah.
assessment then.
And we did get a call Friday from a gentleman that we
Yes, we
know
did.
we like, and he's a I think
Very
he's
nice
very
man.
informed individual. He says some of the information in the release that I read Friday
Right.
was not. I don't think
I think
he
he
said
said
not
it was
true. He said
too
it was
vague.
Not, yeah, it wasn't exactly kosher or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
I don't have the particulars, so I'm sure that will come up tonight.
Now, I will say that for the fire departments that do not sign this contract, they're still getting money from Alonzo County.
Yep.
But it's just that amount where they could have, if they signed the contract, gotten this amount.
Yeah, and if you don't
So-
like the contract, if you have problems with it as a fire department,
That's-
okay, that's your
That's
your
right.
privy not to sign this contract. And
Exactly.
you'll live under the existing conditions.
Right.
I don't know whether there's a contract. I don't think so. Here's, as I understand it, after reading the
Mhm.
information the other day, and I still would like to get the county manager in here,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Smitherman, to answer the questions so we can pick apart this stuff one piece at a time that people keep
Right.
telling us about. Okay, the biggest thing is that okay, we've got this money that we can do, we can help, but if we're going to contribute this kind of taxpayer money above and
Yes.
beyond what we're currently doing,
Right.
we've got to have some assurances, and there may be some reason based upon some things that are going on that they want these assurances in writing that should, for any reason that's based upon you, any individual fire department, that you falter, that you decide to go out of business, you do not own that equipment that we have bought, the county.
Accountability.
That
yes.
comes back to the county to be used and distributed for use by other fire departments or to a combined fire department, as occurred in the Bear Creek Hubert area, right?
Exactly.
That fire department was faltering.
Hmm.
Okay, it was going away.
Right.
I think, was it Turkey Creek another one?
Was
I
it
don't know.
Back Swamp? It was something.
I don't know. I shouldn't have even mentioned her name. But anyway,
Yeah.
when it was going to go under or go out of business because they didn't have enough
Was it
volunteers
Turkey Creek?
Turkey Creek was one of them.
the Bear Creek did not have enough volunteers to respond on
Exactly.
the basis, because during the daytime, these people work. They are volunteers.
Mhm.
So they had to regroup, reconsider, reorganize, and they came up with a plan that apparently is working. Okay.
Right.
The idea, because if they had just faltered, yes, you're going to get fire protection, but it's not going to be people who are assigned to cover that area specifically.
Well, the county took
Sooner or
over
later.
Bear Creek. Yeah.
Yeah, and then at that point in time, your insurance rates are probably going to go up. Your home insurance
That's
rates.
the whole thing about
That
it.
was the big deal. It's not that you're not going to get fire protection; you're just not going to get it as you would like to have it. Okay.
Well, my big thing is people need to listen to both sides.
Yeah, they need to listen to the
and
whole
they
thing.
need to quit, assuming that one side is crooked and is trying to take advantage of the other side. No, that's not what's happening. There are some some of the volunteer fire departments that have a differences of opinion, but that's not saying the county is corrupt and they're trying to take control of the fire departments. That's not what's going on.
They're looking for a management,
Yes.
for total management and control, not that they're going to go in there and I'm taking over the fire department and I'm going to, y'all are out, we're in. That's not what the purpose is, according to everything that I have read. The county does not want to own the fire departments.
No.
That costs me more money than I'm willing to put up with.
That's right.
And I'd be
Taxes will
voting
go
against a
up.
bunch of people come elections out.
I look at it more like a shadowing. They're going to shadow
Yeah.
shadow
Well,
this.
it's like-
They want accountability.
It's like Bear Creek when they first came up with the deal. They brought in 3 paid firemen during the day
Mhm.
and at night, and I thought it was from 8 to 5. I found out it's from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. Any county fire department can have this if it's needed.
Mhm.
Bear Creek was one of the first ones I remember.
How many
Now,
paid
Bear-
firemen do we have now?
13.
Yeah, was it
At the
14?
volunteer fire departments?
I think it's 13. Isn't
13 or
it? Yeah.
how many fire departments?
No,
we
how
have?
many paid?
I don't know
Oh,
exactly. I know
oh,
Bear
I'm
Creek
sorry.
used to
I
have
saw it
3.
the other day. There are more. No, there's more than
I-
4.
Yeah.
There are
I
more.
don't
There are
know.
more paid.
Right. But I'm saying that's
firefighters
what they would put
I
there.
do.
And but see if
They're
Bear
not
Creek
all
faltered
full-timers,
and
but-
went out, Hubert and Swansboro would have to take over that area.
Right.
That's the well. See, then your range stretch out. When your range stretches
Your
out,
ISO.
your ISO has to stretch, and you have to
Yep.
have different stuff, and you have to, and that's more
And your
money.
insurance rates go
Right.
up. And I remember when all that happened, and then the county took over, and I remember the big announcement about the ISO rate dropping and the insurance rates dropping.
up.
So that was a good thing.
So anyway, that's what it's all about. Go to the meeting tonight. What time is it?
6
o'clock.
6 o'clock. That's 1800 for some of y'all this evening.
And if you want to
Eastern
speak,
time.
you have to get there early enough
Yeah.
to sign up.
We're going to get there real early to be first. because we got to
I
feel
understand you're going in a few minutes. As soon as it goes, we're going to sit there and wait.
Camp out.
Take some donuts. Wait, those donuts are good,
Well,
by the way.
I mean,
One of them was.
Camp out with the deputy.
yeah. Well, I mean, ours is going to be something very special. I'm not saying the fire department issue is not special. This can be special, but we're not going to have a whole bunch of people there to
Yeah.
talk.
Which of you? Okay, question. What's wrong with people?
In
Boy,
general,
is that an open-ended question or what?
I don't know yet. Him in as an example.
A sick piece of crap, nothing more than a terrorist sits in a car,
Mhm.
sets off a car bomb over the weekend, happened in California. This man, I use the term loosely, that authorities say is responsible for bombing a reproductive center in Palm Springs on Saturday was Guy Edward Barkus. Apparently, he and others don't think that anyone should have children. I've never heard of this before. Clearly, his mother should not have. The 25-year-old is from 29 Palms. He's described as a pro-mortalist. Huh? He died in the blast. 4 other people were hurt. There was no loss of any sensitive material. That's what the feds are saying as a result of the bombing of the IVF clinic. They were referring to the embryos that were stored there. Agents are tracking a manifesto generated by Barkus and are asking that anyone with any information about this man to contact them. The FBI is treating this as an international act of terrorism. I don't know a whole lot about Barkus yet. I've done some. Supposedly he's a local, but he's got other connections. International act of terrorism. Investigators are focusing on social media posts made by this dude, including a 30-minute audio recording which they say supported anti-natalist views. Okay. While the post and the recording are still being verified, officials believe they reflect the ideology behind this bombing. Anti-natalism, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I think that's close, refers to the belief that no one should bear children. Anti-natalist groups are online communities where individuals share their philosophical and ethical views against procreation, arguing that it is unethical or unjustified to have children. These people can be found on platforms like Facebook and Reddit, which have about thousands of members. Investigators say Barkus was dealing with depression and had personal relationship issues. I can understand that. It's thought he was actually trying to live stream the bombing at the time the bomb detonated. So he also wasn't very bright. Hopefully, we won't see a lot of copycat acts stemming from this, but with this publicity, don't be surprised if we do. YouTube videos have been recovered showing this young dude setting off various explosives demonstrations earlier. If you, while looking at YouTube or wherever you see this kind of stuff happening, you know that these people should not be doing this. You know this is a sign. or if you know of any radical people or groups doing radical things, remember, if you see it or know it, call your nearest law enforcement agency, giving them explicit details. If you aren't comfortable and telling the folks who you are, it's okay. You can call here in Oslo County. You can call Crime Stoppers. Don't have to give your name. They call it anonymously. It's in the dictionary. Look it up. Believe me. 910-938-3273. Call them. You don't have to give your name. If you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, bless you. Give as much details as you know. Cars, license plate numbers. If you got pictures, that's great too. Save them. You might need them. If you don't have a problem giving your name, call them and tell them, I'll talk. I've got pictures. But if you don't want to give your name because you fear retaliation, you don't want to get up into caught up in court processes, you don't want to do that, call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 910-938-3273.
Law enforcement, actually, they really can get a lot off these rings.
Oh, yes.
The cameras that everybody has. If you call
Thank goodness.
the Crime Stoppers, they'll send out the appropriate law enforcement for that
Absolutely.
particular area. They can take that ring photo and nail these people pretty quick. To answer your question,
Nail them in advance is the best process. Get them early.
to answer your question, what was he thinking when he said that people don't have the right to have children? How was he here?
Why do you use the word thinking
Well, it's
Oh, yeah.
when you
probably
ask what was
because
he thinking? He wasn't thinking with anything.
probably because him and his father had been estranged for so many years. I think 10 years or more is what his father was saying, and I think he just
He's 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
You look at the guy. I'm a profiler. Sorry, cops are not supposed to profile, but cops do profile.
Mhm.
He's a loner.
Yeah.
He's despondent. He
Not
has
loved
issues.
by
He
his
has
dad.
major problems. His social media, once they get into it, they tear it apart.
Mhm.
It's just too bad. I mean, we know that every police agency, every modern police agency in the country today, they do look at things, but I cannot. Good God, I cannot go and look at the information about the people who post with us. I don't have the time, or the resources, or the desire. But if
Amen.
if I see a word or something comes up and it says bang, okay, or not that literally, but if it sets off the alarm in my head, then yes, I'm going to look at it closely and I'm going to examine it to death. And then if there's anything that I see that I cannot explain, then bing bing 911. Can I help you? Yes, ma'am. Please connect me with the investigative unit on terrorism or child rapist or whatever. Give me somebody to talk to. I don't mind. I'll call them right up front.
Yeah.
Here's the for you. Ding. Check it. I screenshot it just in case he dumps it. That's the other thing. You find an idiot out there doing something, screenshot that thing. And you may want to think about before you sending it. But, after a second or third thought, and especially if they take it down pretty quickly, there's also another clue.
I do it a lot.
They
on the
woke up,
road.
sobered up inside. That's not a good
A
plan.
lot on the
I
road.
was just getting ready to ask you, Tim, when you're on the road, do you get any kind of, did you have any systems in your truck? Alerts? No, seriously.
Yeah.
News, something like,
I have an onboard camera. Onboard camera that picks out, and I have called, and in North Carolina it's Star HP.
mm-hmm.
South Carolina has a Star SHP, and I can't remember what Georgia's is. But I've called and give out
Oh,
license
Bubba.
number. Yeah, I've called and said, look, here's the license number. If you need me, this is my driver's license. I mean, not driver's license. This is my truck number, and I have an onboard camera. If you want to see it, if you need the evidence, I have it,
Mhm.
and they have all the information. They can contact me anytime they want. But yeah, see it all the time. I don't have the side stuff, and like you see, some people have. You go down you get ready to pass the car, see this little yellow light come on the mirror. I don't have that, but I have
That's-
plenty of mirrors.
My wife mate's got that in her car. I don't have that in mine, but hers just doesn't record anything.
Yeah.
Hers
Well-
just lets me know that somebody's coming up that I can't quite see
Yeah.
yet.
Well, you can get an onboard camera and put and it's
You can.
folks. I'm telling you, that's one of the
I
greatest
wanna
things
get
you'll
one.
ever
I
have.
gotta
You
get
go right
one.
there at Walmart and get them. They're
That's
not
what you drive,
expensive.
yes.
They put one in my company pickup truck. They wanted to go to a new system that has two cameras, one facing out, one facing in. I said, well, we call it an old camera.
I
And
know.
they and
So
HR
why do
said, what do you call it that? I said, well, you're going to see the expression on my face and what I say when I see a wreck fixing to happen. And I'm going down the road, and all of a sudden it says danger, danger, danger. And I'm looking at what? And it was raining. Okay.
Slow down.
Yeah, I had one said imminent, following too close. I had one distracted driving. And what I did, I turned my head to look at a tractor that was sitting on the side of the road, and all of a sudden
And
I
you were
got
distracted.
distracted.
God help
driving.
you if you pick up a hamburger.
Well, the owner got wind of it. The only two of us that had them, because we lived further away. And he said, that's got to be go. And Greg Emerson, he is a project man, great, fantastic guy. And he said, if I wanted somebody to assist me driving, I'd let my wife ride with me every day. Because she does it better than it does. So,
Well,
we took 'em out. But we have GPS on every piece of equipment we have. We have cameras on every piece of movable equipment we have.
Good.
And it's all the time going. And especially Georgia.
Mhm.
God, it's 6 lanes, 3 on each side, and they'll get in the cars. Please get in the far left lane if you're trapped. We can't get over there. We're not allowed over in the far left lane. We automatically get a ticket if we get caught.
In Georgia.
In Georgia,
Wow.
and Florida, Georgia, and even on a 4-lane interstate in Georgia, if a truck gets over in the left-hand lane,
Even
he
to
better
pass?
be passing.
Okay, as long as it's passing.
And as soon as he better get back over. Because now if a highway patrolman sees him and he stays in that left-hand lane, it's a ticket.
What is it? North Carolina on I-40.
Yeah, I noticed they stay in the right.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to, you're supposed to, they don't enforce it that well.
Yeah.
When you get closer to Raleigh, they start enforcing it because
Because they
But
got a
you-
lot of them up there.
you have,
Highway patrol.
but down here on I-40 from I-95 toward Wilmington, you have more deputy sheriffs patrolling it than you'd actually do highway patrol.
Yeah.
Especially in Duplin County. And that's fine by me.
Once was the brown wrappers.
Yeah.
They were all sheriff's cars for brown.
Yeah.
Everywhere. They did not do traffic
No,
enforcement.
not during Billy Woodward's campaign.
Tom Marshall was no. There were county sheriffs that would not do it because it hurt their campaigns in their mind. You're going to give Timmy Thomas a ticket for speeding? Oh, no. He's a good supporter of mine. You tear that thing up.
I don't know if Ed Brown did it or not. I know Hans started it.
Yes, he did.
Real big, and that's fine. I mean,
Well, Ed Brown, I was on my way to Wilmington when I was commuting. My eavesdropping radio on, and I heard him call in one morning. He's pulling a car over.
Yeah.
I said, what? And he got back in the car and checked in. They said, everything 10-4. And he said, 10-4, he thought that because he was the law from somewhere else, he could break our laws.
yeah.
So I had to go see Ed.
Yeah.
And he told me it was somebody passing through. It belonged to a state agency and had a little bubblegum light, a Kojak blue light on the dashboard, but wasn't running. And he said he was running way too fast. I pulled him over and explained to him that was not a good idea in my county.
Well, I was on my way to work one time when I worked for SD's Express Lines. I drove truck at night, and a car got behind me, and I had talked to my brother that day, and he was going to be in Jacksonville, and he drove a light brown state car. He was DMV,
Yeah.
But he drove an unmarked car. And I looked, and I figured it was about time for him to go home. I'm on 53 running about 60 mile an hour. And this car gets right up on my tail. So I gun it. And then the blue lights come on, and right where Holland Shelter Seafood was, I pulled over. And it was a deputy sheriff from Pender County.
Whoops.
And he gave me the one side. And I told him, I said, I really thought you were my brother picking on me. Your brother. I said, yeah. And I told him who my brother was.
And he said, oh, yeah.
He shook his head. He said, instead of giving you a ticket or just carry you to jail, and I can do that. Yes, sir. Is it because of my brother or because I was running 65? And he laughed at me. And he says, I'm going to let you go, but I don't care who gets behind you now. You better not speed. And I didn't. But he really.
Before we go to the phones, Billy Woodward, he was a detective at the time, in the sheriff's office. They were coming back from Witchlands. He and whoever was driving, I don't remember which detective it was. Anyway, they're civilian clothes. They're driving along. They come up behind a car that was running a little less than the speed limit. So they get ready to pass him. They got up close to him, and there's a hand sticking out of the trunk of the car. And that was back in the days when we were having lots of really bad things happening around here. So they went into the mode.
Yeah.
And I can just see poor Billy. But anyway, they kick the blues on him. He pulls over, and they take their positions, order the guys out of the car, 2 young guys in the car. Open the trunk. Well, they thought they were cute. They got one of those fake rubber hands, and it had blood on it. It looked like blood on it, and they closed it in the trunk of the car so you could just sticking out.
I can't remember if that was Doug Craven or Don Gibson with him on that.
I don't know. Anyway, it was a bad scene.
Well, I certainly hand it to you. That's a crazy story.
It's true.
Good one.
Hand it
Hand
to
it
me.
to me. Good one.
I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, well, it was a
We used to have a mail carrier
Listen,
do that
listen,
on
let that be.
Halloween. He used to have an
Oh, don't do
arm and
that.
a hand hanging out the back of his mail door.
Well, make it very obvious. Don't make it look like it could be.
Oh, his looked real.
Okay. What have you done that's been really crazy driving around, Charlie?
What was that? What was the question?
Have you ever done anything silly trying to play a joke on people just driving around doing something dumb?
I mean, probably, yeah. I mean, I nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
I've said this many times. All of you guys know that I call into lots and lots of shows.
Uh-huh.
I've called into hundreds, if not thousands of shows since I was probably 13 years of age. I love this show, but here's my question to you guys. Why do you guys do this show?
Same reason we said last week, because we enjoy the fun.
Yeah.
We get together this way.
Yeah.
I have no friends. Nobody will socialize with me other than these people in here. They come.
I, Charlie, love talking to people like you, anybody else that calls in. I love these people, and I love being able to use this platform to promote charities.
Yes.
And I like to hear other people's viewpoints, and I like to hear other people's history, and that's what I get out of it. I like to hear what you're thinking and what you stand for.
Now, may I ask you a question, Charlie, while we're at it? You said you.
Yeah, go ahead. You can ask me anything.
I'm not trying to get. Okay, I'm just here. You said you've been calling into radio shows since you were a little boy or a teenager, I think you said. How long has that been? You've been doing this?
It's been so long. I call into so many. I've actually been offered radio shows from top people online, top podcasters that have thousands of viewers, and I'm like, I'm not going to work for you. You can't do anything for me. They can't do anything for me. But I'm just curious. Excuse me. You guys collectively, you get together in this room. Are you guys in a basement? Are you in like
We're in a dungeon.
No, they would like to put us in a basement at times. But no, I'm
We
looking
used to be.
outside. I see the house next door. I see the trees. I've got my wind detector out there. It's a tree just in case the wind's blowing real hard. That's my weather gauge. What? Yes, if the leaves are blowing, I can tell you that it's windy.
All I could think of was a tree hitting the
I
side
can
of
see
the
I can see the
studio.
sky outside, whether it's sunny or what, or whether it's raining. I mean, I can give you a weather report. How many weather guys on TV can you say that can actually see
We
what's
just
going
took
on
a
outside?
tree.
And as far as I go, I'm like a humorist, if you want to call it
He's a
that. And I've been
comedian.
doing it for years, never made any money at it. I write my own jokes. My character on this show is called the Donkey Man because I raise donkeys. I raise Democrats, and they are full-blooded Democrats because they stand at the gate and wait for me to feed them. And I've told them.
Are you a Democrat? Are you a Democrat?
No, sir.
No,
I'm
he-
not. But the thing about it is,
Don't name a Democrat after my name.
well, no, I'm not. It's just, but what I do is my character is a donkey. Is called the Donkey Man, and my character now. I'm a male chauvinist pig, and I'm a Yankee hater on the show. That is my character, and I do that places where now I'm not. You can ask my wife. She doesn't touch a door handle. No, she does not. We go out. She does not touch a door handle. I open the door for her. I do everything. I have a
He's a
shirt
gentleman.
that say on the back says Nana's Pack Mule. When she goes antique and she shops, I tote. I'm happy. So
Why doesn't she touch the door handle?
because chivalry is not dead. I love my wife.
Because
I
he does it
respect
for
my wife,
her.
and
He
I do
opens
it
her
for her.
doors everywhere.
I open her door
I
to get
thought
out of
it
the
was
truck.
OCD.
Do what now?
I thought she had like a
No.
obsessive compulsive behavior.
Oh,
No. We've been together 18 years, and that was something she never experienced in her life. The first time we went out on a date, I got out of the truck. And she wanted to go
I've
to
been
in the
choosing to do
store
that
and
in the
use the
past.
bathroom, and I was going to buy her a Dr. Pepper and a moon pie. That's what she wanted. And I said, now, I'm going to open the door. I want you to sit right here. Don't you get out. And she's looking at me like I'm a fool. And I walk around the truck. I open the door, and she's looking at me like, what in the heck are you doing? I said, look, it's total respect. You do not touch a door handle. And I've told everybody that ever dated my daughter, she better not touch a door handle the whole time she's out. And if she does and I hear about it, you won't be back. And it worked,
Can I
Charlie.
ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I may be wrong, but did you use the word moon pie?
Moon pie, buddy.
You
My
never
wife
heard of
loves
that?
a moon pie.
Moon pie and
Did you
cherry
say the
pie.
word moon pie?
Moon pie.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's 2
I actually
gram.
Googled it. I actually Googled moon pie. Where I'm from, we don't know what a moon pie is. I'm like,
Probably
what
not.
the hell word did you just use?
You're in California though. I can
No,
understand.
I live in Georgia. Who cares where I live?
Okay.
They got moon pie.
We got moon pies
If
in
you
Georgia.
live in Georgia and you don't know what a moon pie is, you're not living in
Yeah,
Georgia.
no.
You're lying. You live in maybe the country of Georgia.
I'm just fascinated by all of you guys. You guys are over like 30 years of age,
Well,
right?
we're really-
Most of you are over 30 years
Well,
of age.
not
And
Lee.
you're in this-
Lee's only 30.
And you're in this
32.
room, with I respect. First of all, I would never disrespect you. You're not going to say Charlie's goofing on us. He's making fun of us. I have great respect for you guys. Trust me. I say horrible things about everybody. Nothing but you guys. But I'm just fascinated by the four of you collectively in this room sharing your thoughts. You've got like a few. Why do you do it?
Just
What motivates you to
Fun.
do it?
It's fun.
the only answer that I have to the question why is because. And that's it. You ask me why, I'll answer because. And that's all. Just because. That's all I need to say. I'm from the South. And by the way, if you add our ages together, the four of us in here, we are cumulatively older than the United States of America.
What? Was that necessary?
We are Charlie. I can tell you one
Call to
thing.
the
Having
door.
having had a talk show before in a previous career, one of the things I liked about it is to meet people.
Yeah.
And we got to meet you through this talk show.
That's true.
And we may never meet you in person, but you feel like part of the family.
Charlie, I'm going to tell you something else about a young lady that she and her husband, I used to work, we didn't work together in the same department. He was a Fed, I was not. But we did law enforcement work together. Our paths crossed many, many times in the 1970s. He retired as a Fed. He and his wife are living up in Ohio. They come down a couple of times a year, and we always have lunch with them and then dinner with them during their 2-week visit to the beach. He misses the beach, but they still live in Ohio because their kids are up that way. Anyway, she listens to us on a regular basis. And you know what she had to say? We need to see your puppy dog more often. And I says, oh, my God, you're listening again. Charlie's going to love that one.
Hold on, wait, say that again? Say that again?
She says that she would like to see our puppy dog on camera more often because she loves to watch our puppy dog when she's watching us from Ohio.
Yeah, I actually like to see the dogs.
I know. That's what
Seeing
I told
the
her.
dogs on cam. No. Actually, when you guys show the dogs on cam, it's very calming.
Uh-huh.
It relaxes me. So when you guys put the dogs on cam, it's a good thing.
Well, I'd have to wake the dog up right now to put him on camera because he's sound asleep over there on the futon.
You got to understand, Charlie, it's entertainment. When you call in, it's entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people that are home listening and watching, it's entertainment because they may go out later on this afternoon with their friends. Hey, did you listen to Real Talk this morning when Charlie came on, was talking about this and that and the other? And somebody, well, yeah, and it's a conversation piece at supper time or dinner.
So let me ask you this. Other than you naming it
A jackass.
Other than you naming it donkey after me.
Yeah.
Have any of you hosts on your show, has my name ever come up in a conversation with your loved ones, your family, your friends outside of the air?
Yes. Your name comes up.
I've had friends. I've had friends.
Let's back that one up again. Chris said your name comes up at church?
Yes.
Wow, Charlie.
Yes. Yeah. Before our church mass starts, I have many people at our church listen to the program, and they'll mention that they enjoy listening to Charlie.
Yeah. So you're an icon here in North Carolina.
Wow.
We've never known you if you hadn't have been here. I mean, if you hadn't been called in on the show, Charlie. We enjoy you calling in.
I think that's really bizarre. I'm like in a really bad, depressive state. But the fact that anyone would even mention my name on any level because I'm an idiot, I'm stupid.
No, you're not.
That's bizarre that anyone would ever bring up my name.
You're great entertainment. You're actually great entertainment.
They, with the people I was telling you about, Charlie, they are loyal listeners of live local real talk. They feel like the regular hosts, Lee and Rayford and Kelly, get information out to them. This is the only real live and local community-based talk show. And although it's heard in California, Ohio, Florida, Virginia,
we know people there who listen regularly.
Overseas.
Overseas.
I got somebody who's stationed with her husband in Germany.
But people like to hear about the local things going on and the national things. And it gets a broad perspective because Lee has her opinions and covers a wide variety of subjects, as does Rayford and Kelly.
So I'm gonna leave with this. So you've actually been in a room with people and you've had conversations about your online podcast, and my name has come up. Someone has mentioned my name.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, most of the time it's like, who is that guy Charlie that
Yeah, you
calls
want to
in?
run for office here? We can get you elected.
Yeah, we can get you.
Yeah, my
That's
wife asked me.
really
I said,
bizarre that anybody would give us a second of thought to me. Oh, by the way, someday I'm going to call you guys back. And I'm going to talk to you about TV shows that I've written for other individuals. But I don't want to say too much. I got to be very careful.
Yes.
I got to be careful.
I know you've mentioned the Tonight Show, but I'm going to ask you, did you ever do anything for Red Skelton?
No, I mean that's like 1942.
No. He had a show in the 70s or 60s.
I want to make one thing very clear. I'm aware of everybody from Charlie Chaplin to every comedian, contemporary comedian. I'm an authoritarian in comedians. No, not Rip Sheckler. No. I'm not going to age myself, but I think if I throw out, I'm not going to throw out anything. I'm an idiot. I'm not going to throw out anything. No. But I think if I throw out a couple things, you'd be like, holy Toledo. Charlie knew this person. Charlie wrote for this show. Charlie did that show. No, I'm an idiot. I'm nothing. Yeah. I just get a kick. The fact that you guys are in church or wherever you are, whoever's listening to this, I've said this 1,000. I've said this maybe 10 times. I call into so many shows. I do so many different characters. I do so many different accents. I do so many impersonations. I think you guys would be amazed at the characters that I could do for everybody from Ronald Reagan to Mario Lopez from Saved by the Bell. These characters that I can do. This is a great show. You guys have a great show, but I don't get why you're not YouTube famous. I don't get it.
Spread the word.
Why do you let that bother you? We don't.
Well, no, because you guys have a very basic, simple, earnest, crisp. It's like a nice internet podcast. Mm-hmm. You guys don't put on a front. You're not obnoxious. You don't. You're not contrived. You're not like overselling something. You're just normal people. I don't get why you guys don't have thousands and thousands of viewers.
We're normal.
Did he call us normal?
No. That's a compliment.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
That's scary.
You're one of the few that have called me normal.
Yeah. Charlie, you listen to this show and the others that you listen to. One thing you might notice is that everybody here brings a little something different to the program. Rayford brings his television and law enforcement into it. Lee is probably one of the most intelligent political people locally.
And a sex symbol.
Yeah. Tim is on the road all the time, so we get some kind of aspect from someone that's driving around seeing the country. And me, I just sit here and just run my mouth.
Oh, come on. Yeah, you do.
We all have our good points and our silly points,
but I like to entertain. I have entertained for years. I have got up and spoken and I've emceed shows and I've done other stuff. Been on the road doing a little bit of comedy. That was not my bag, and I probably could have made a good living at it, but I didn't want to. There was 3 things that I had in my heart growing up that I wanted to do, and it's crazy. One of them is a veterinarian. I didn't do that. But I worked for a lot of veterinarians, and they told me, every one of them said, we're glad you didn't do that because we can teach you how to do things the way we want you to do them. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm not a veterinarian. I wanted to be a singer and entertainer. And I did some of that. And I wanted to drive a truck. And I have been behind the wheel of a truck off and on for 39 years. This coming October will make 40. I have been in every state in the U.S. except Hawaii and Alaska. I have been up into Canada and won't go back. I walked across into Mexico and turned around and paid my 50 cents to come back and said I didn't need to be there. And I've seen a lot. I've done a lot. There's still more things I want to do. I used to break horses. I still train a few horses. I mean, I raise donkeys. I help people out with donkey problems and horse problems. And it's just a mixture. It's just like you've written for shows, so you have a lot of entertainment aspect in you. And we all have, everybody has gifts. Everybody are born with gifts. And it's up to you to take that gift and do something with it. And you probably did, Charlie. And I've done what I've done. Rayford has been, like you said, law enforcement. He's been in the television industry. Chris, you were in military, weren't you, Chris?
Yeah. No, I was radio for 10 years.
Radio for 10 years,
ran the cable company for 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Lee, she was postal worker. She was had security business.
Security gun.
But we
I
like
was a
people like you
private eye,
that call
too.
in,
Yeah.
and that's what the show's all about. They're getting together, fellowship, if you want to call it. And we applaud you for calling in. And
Hey, what is your name again?
Mine's Tim.
Yeah.
They call me the Donkey Man.
Tim the Donkey Man.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of like made up names, but so I'll go with the Donkey Man. So are you satisfied with where you are with your life right now? Have you fulfilled all your so-called life goals and ambitions? Are you happy with what you've accomplished in life?
I'm happy with what I've accomplished, but I'm not done.
I was going to say, are you ready to die?
I'm not
Lay
done.
down and
There's
roll
a whole
over.
lot more things I want to do. I don't know if I ever get one of my biggest things, and I'll tell you, there's two things I really want before I die. I want, and I know it's crazy, I would love to have a Palomino colored Tennessee walking horse,
Ooh.
about 15 and a half hands high. I would also love to have a 1957, 58, or 59 Chevrolet Candy Apple Red Apache
57.
pickup truck that is four-wheel drive. I may not never have them, but I want them. And there's other little things I want to have. But yeah, and I've had my hands on 3 Tennessee Walkers in my life, but it fell through. But I want it. I want one just like Roy Rogers had, Trigger Jr. I want one just like it. But if I don't ever get it, so well. So, but I still want to try. I'm always wanting to try something.
So let me ask you this. This sounds very self-serving. Maybe it's a tad narcissistic. Ask me a question. Ask me a personal question. I'm going to answer with pure honesty.
All right, go ahead, y'all. Ask him. Nah.
Anybody have anything personal they want to buy? What's your shoe size?
I don't want to ask him. I'll ask him. Were you ever married?
You've got nothing.
Were you ever married?
No, I've never been married. I thought this would be like a great opportunity to explore Charlie. Nobody has anything. No, I've never been married.
What kind of car do you drive?
It's a Volkswagen
Beetle or
Electric?
something else?
Jetta.
Jetta.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Diesel or gas?
Does it use diesel or gas?
No, it's gas. It's gas.
Yeah,
It
okay.
takes gas.
Well, the reason I asked that question, everybody I know that owns a Volkswagen Jetta diesel.
There's got to be a question. You know what? I forgot the name of the gentleman that's in really good shape. What's your name?
Chris.
Well, listen to
Chris
does this.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, Chris.
He'd be a great voiceover guy.
Charlie.
Chris is in great shape. Chris is in great shape.
You said that and he
Chris,
just pumped
if
you
you had to
up.
ask me,
Yes.
no, I'm a fan of Chris's. I'm a fan of. Hey, Chris, if you had to ask me, it sounds it's like Charlie. What are you getting at, Chris? If you had to ask me one question, what would that question be?
Describe yourself in 10 words or less.
Oh, you stumped.
Wow, that's an interesting question. You said words or words?
Words.
You could describe
Yes.
yourself in 10 words.
Adjectives would be great. I think is what he's looking for.
So if
I would say empathy. I would say compassionate. I would say suicidal. I would say caring. I would say giving. I would say honest. I would say hypocritical. I would say suicidal. I would say
My goodness, you said suicidal twice.
Why?
yeah, I really don't want to live anymore, guys. I truly
Why?
don't want to live
Why?
anymore. It's how life works. It's how life works. Listen, we all live our lives. We live from birth. We experience this, we experience that. We get this. We live this wonderful life. We experience these wonderful things. We go through this. We go through that. And then sometimes we go through something bad, something negative. something good, but something horribly negative, something bad, something negative, and then we say, is it really worth it? What's the point in going on?
Okay.
So that's
You know
what
what we call that? We call that life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
I
we've
mean,
all
it's-
been there.
I don't think there's probably anyone among us who hasn't had ups and downs. I mean, good times, bad times, tragic times, serious times, threatening times, whatever. So
Charlie, let me say this.
Has anybody ever thought about suicide?
I was just getting ready to say, Charlie,
has anybody ever have it?
Charlie, I have.
Yeah.
I actually contemplated it and came very close, and a friend saved me from doing it. I think everybody faces a time in their life where they're going, maybe it's better if I'm not here, but in the long run, it's better that you are here. And I have a question that's going to be a very easy one for you. How old are you?
A little over 50.
Okay. You have got 38 and a half more years to live, and you need to live each day like it's today. Make it like it's your last. Keep in mind this. Don't worry about the past because it's there.
Done.
You remember it so you don't relive it, but live in the moment.
It's kind of like that deputy sheriff told Tim, don't worry about who's in your rear view mirror. And trying to get away from that is going to get you a ticket. That's the same advice goes for you. Don't worry about what has happened in the past. Don't recreate it. If it was bad, if it was great, do it again.
Yeah, Charlie, I contemplated suicide from October of 1978 to February of 1984 of 85. I'm sorry. I contemplated it. I even thought it out up to the point that I had it planned. And my mother did it. And I made up a definition of suicide that day. And my definition of suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Yep.
I've never contemplated it before because I saw what suicide would do to a family. And you may be by yourself, you may have a family, but let me tell you something. If you take your own life, America has lost something. Every time somebody commits suicide, America loses. Not just one person, everybody, because like I said, you have a gift. Somewhere you have a gift. If you hadn't already done it, your gifts, you still have gifts to give. And I'm going to say it like this, and it may be wrong. You owe it to us to keep giving those gifts. And suicide is not one of them. But I'm just telling you, that's my definition of suicide. You can take it like you want, but you like Chris said, live every day like it's your last.
But here's one thing that I do know.
Okay.
Here's one thing that I do know. If any human being commits suicide, you let them win. They beat you.
I just don't. I'm just.
Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense?
Not a whole lot.
No.
If you
Charlie,
if somebody
Charlie, have you known anybody up close and personal that committed suicide?
No.
Okay. I have people that I knew, but I've also
Do you have someone that you deeply loved, and it was a major part of your life that took their life?
Of course.
Well, everybody that is part of my life is a major part of my life if they're relatives. Okay, so yes. Now, second, I have in the former profession, I had lots of unfortunate situations that I had to go to those locations where people had committed suicide. They killed themselves, and there were people that I did not know. Most of them, I knew one or two, knew of others, but one in particular was the husband of my high school senior English teacher, and he did it, and I had to go process the scene. Okay.
It's bad.
In their home. She was gone, but she came home while I was there doing what I had to do. I have done, God knows, maybe 3 dozen suicides and during that period of time. It is not, and it is so final, and the devastation, the loss, the self-blaming that those who you leave behind, what they do, what they go through. Why in the name of heaven would anybody want to be that selfish? I know that everybody who tries it or considers it or does seek counseling to talk about it, they all have an excuse. There is a serious difference between a reason and an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
They use excuses. I have yet to find somebody with a reason for wanting to commit suicide that I could accept. So, it is not, this is not what you want to leave behind as your legacy. I can tell you that right now. If you know even 2 people, if you've got relatives, but if you know 2 people that are even friends, if they're close relatives or whatever, you have just betrayed them. And if that is your goal, then that's what it is. That's what it amounts to. Otherwise, you hurt more people than just yourself. You are an escape artist. Does that make any sense to you? I hope it does. And I hope
it makes sense.
And I really seriously hope. Well, let me finish. If you need some assistance, I will get you help.
No, I don't trust. No, I don't listen. I don't trust talking to somebody that went to graduate school for 6 years and they have a degree in psychology and they can understand me and they can understand what I'm going through. No, I'm not a big fan of that, because most of the people you talk to that are psychiatrists or psychologists, they have so many stresses and anxieties in their own lives. They're completely effed up. They're so messed up. Their children are messed up. They're alcoholics and drug addicts. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I understand where you're coming from, but there are people out there that are just like you or have been in your shoes. They're not trained in anything, but there are people out there you can talk with.
Yeah, I get called a lot.
Yeah.
But how do you trust? How do you trust these people to talk to them and share your life experience with them and to tell you that you're in disparity and you're talking to somebody who's probably maybe worse off than you? They've got their own psychological problems. They're maybe in a relationship where they're being physically beaten. Maybe they're horrible people. How do you trust anybody to share your problems with?
Charlie, if you talk to somebody like that, maybe both of you can get together and solve. How about you see what I'm saying?
Or maybe you bring a third person into the mix.
Bring a third person, whatever. I mean, I get called a lot sometimes. I get called, hey, how did you cope with this? How did you cope with your son being killed? How did you cope with your mother committing suicide? How did you do? And I tell them day by day, and I listen to them, and I give them my opinion. After they get through talking, I get to, this is what I do. I live day to day. And yes, it's always going to be, but suicide is not on my mind, because I love life. I love these people sitting in here with me today. I'm glad I got the secret. First time I've ever seen Chris in person.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
First time I've ever seen Chris. Love Lee to death. Thank Rayford is one of the greatest people I've ever known.
Oh, he hasn't known many people.
And you're right. I mean, I see a lot of people, but I have people that have called me that has lost somebody, and they'll say, oh, how did you do this? And how did you do that? And I did it.
Theo calling.
That's Theo. My deplorable, but we have a caller calling in, and I love him to death, but he is true blue Democrat. And I love him.
Do you know who I trust? Do you know who I trust?
Who?
Kelly.
Yeah, I trust Kelly.
I know you do. That's good.
Yeah.
I trust Kelly. I'm not sure she's listening, but I do trust her. I've shared some stuff with her. No, she can expose me. She knows things about me.
She would never do that.
She can't. She won't.
I just trust her. I don't know who she is. No, I don't know who she is. Anyway, it is weird. All of us have problems. Yeah, I mean, I guess it is what it is.
Live long and prosper.
Yes,
There
just
you go,
keep on,
Spot.
because what we can do without you calling the show? Think about that too.
Yeah, we don't do that to us. We
Yeah.
like you calling.
I listen while I'm on the road. If I'm going if I'm taking a machine somewhere and 7:00 comes, I punch it in and I listen to it going down the highway.
Mhm.
You're sunshine on a cloudy day. In fact, we're going to do weather next.
All right, guys, that's it. I've
you.
taken a lot of your time. You guys have a
Thank
great
you, Charlie.
day.
Take it easy,
Listen,
Charles.
I gotta get kicked. If you guys knew who I was, and if you listened to thousands of hours of calls that I've made, the horrible things that I said, not horrible. No, everything is a joke to me.
Mhm.
But I'm actually very, I don't know if the word honest, earnest, truthful with you guys. I think you would get a kick out of it. With that, I hope you guys have a good day.
You too, Jay. Wow.
Oh, okay, Theo, how are you?
Good morning, deplorables.
What's up?
Good morning, Theo.
How you doing? Hey, Charlie, they're different people, but they're all deplorables. they have that in common.
Why I raised
Okay.
Democrats? Why am I the horrible?
They all voted. They all voted for that guy in the back that's selling up there. You see that picture up there? They voted for him.
Well, see, I'd have
So,
voted
Chris,
for
how
you.
you doing?
I'd have
I'm
voted
doing
for
well.
you.
I'm doing well, Theo. How are you, my friend?
Chris, you're bothered with Chuck Schumer being on TV all the time, and you called him an idiot. How about the guy behind you that's on TV all the time? What do you call him?
The president?
Yeah,
God,
yeah, exactly,
I have a headache.
exactly.
I call him
Hey,
Don. I call him Don.
Hey,
Don Juan?
Tim, how are you?
I'm doing good, my man. How about you?
I'm good till I heard your comment that you go home and you feed the Democrats.
Yeah, that's what they
Your
are.
daughter's a Democrat, right?
Well, no, she's unaffiliated, but she's true blue liberal like you.
Oh, are you feeding her all the time?
No, she moved out. She's on her own. But when
Okay,
she does
so-
come home,
so
I
you're
give her
not
gas
feeding the
money to go
Democrats.
back home.
You give her gas?
I give her gas
You're not
money.
feeding all the Democrats.
I'm feeding the Democrats on my farm.
Yeah, revise that talk. You know what I mean? Listen, the volunteer fire department. When you talk about volunteers, are they giving free service to you?
No,
They're not
Well,
giving free service to you.
No.
Volunteer.
no. I
Oh,
donate
okay.
every year to my fire department.
Okay,
Every
so
year.
listen, what's happening with the fire department? I know that you guys want a lot of people to move in this town, and you have to have fire departments to cover all these people that you bring in here,
Yeah.
and yet you still have volunteer departments. How come you're not phasing the volunteer and start paying these people
Well, we can't
and
afford
phasing each fire department, and now you have a problem somehow,
Well,
right?
no, we can't afford it. We cannot afford a full paid county fire department system
Why not?
because we can't afford it. The taxes would triple.
Well, raise the taxes.
Why?
Raise the taxes.
Why?
That's what every other city is doing in every other state.
Well,
You
no,
raise
we're
the
not.
taxes
But
to
we're not
cover your
city.
bills.
I don't live in the city, and you don't either.
It doesn't make any difference.
You have a good fire department where you're located, because I know the guy. I know them. They're great people.
You can't go and bring in a whole mess of people that you want this community to grow, and you're still on the volunteer department. You bring in money to cover all these departments. And by the way, when you're doing that, why don't you bring a good hospital in here too? It's about time you got rid of that thing that you got down there called a hospital. All right? Time to build a bigger hospital and a better hospital, state of the art.
Who are you
And
going
if
to
you
put
have any
in?
suggestions, go to Morehead City.
Who are you going to put in the hospital to work? That's the problem.
You
Yeah.
bring in people. If you bring, listen. That hospital's got a bad reputation since 2004 when I got here, and you allowed this to happen without taking it out of there and redoing something about it. And here it is, 2025, and everybody gets shipped out to somewhere else. We're going to have to visit our family somewhere else. Okay? That's the responsibility of the Republican Party. Okay? You're
That's
boys.
all our fault. I have a headache.
I gotta be seeing the truth.
Anyway, good luck with all that.
Thank
And,
you, Theo.
I'll talk to you soon. I'm glad Charlie's a Republican. Very good, Charlie.
I'm not sure what
Take
Charlie
care.
is, but
He's
anyway.
Charlie
He's never
Stoneman.
said.
Hey, Theo, I'll see you at the pig soon.
Looking at offshore weather, cold front has stalled to our south, where it will meander for a couple more days. Northerly winds today, 5 to 10 knots, and becoming southerly this afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet, 5 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers of light chop. Surf temperatures along the coast about 74 degrees tomorrow. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming easterly in the afternoon. 2 to 3 footers. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop, diminishing to a light chop in the afternoon. Wednesday, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, gust of 25, seas 2 to 4, building to 4 to 6 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers choppy.
And today will be sunny with a high near 87, north wind around 5 miles per hour, becoming light and variable. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 66. Tuesday, a slight chance of late afternoon showers, mostly sunny with a high near 83. And Wednesday, an early morning chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 91. And something I've been wanting to announce since we went on air this morning. We've been busy.
It's Monday.
New Bridge Street is finished
Wow, yeah.
and it is open.
Well, let me
need-
see if I can do this.
Okay. It was Piney Green 2.0, but it's open.
And when I-40 was completed
Yes.
and they opened it all the way to Wilmington, the first thing they had to do was go back and start making repairs.
No, New Bridge
So when
Street
it
is
takes,
good.
yeah, this week.
No, I will tell you what, they had so
Just
many
kidding, Sammy.
delays.
Mr. Mayor, I'm
No.
just kidding.
Good job, City of Jacksonville. It is beautiful.
I've driven down it when it was almost finished.
Mhm.
I had to do a U-turn to come back so I could get off it. But anyway, I did do that. It was cool. Middle of the night, no traffic was there.
You know
Those
what
traffic
I
cones, I got out and I picked them back up that I knocked over. Not a problem.
playing that game, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
Well,
There you
you
go.
know what I'd like to really grow
Mhm.
to where we could have like what the
Yeah.
candlelight shopping one night.
There's parking and spaces to do it
Yes.
that Swansboro does not have.
Yes.
I love Swansboro. Oh my God, I was there yesterday. Oh my Lord. Beautiful food.
I love Swansboro, but I just don't go very often because the traffic is horrendous.
See, it's
The
not.
parking downtown
It
is
ain't nothing like
horrendous.
Hampstead, I can tell you that.
Well, Hampstead, I go straight in and turn at the food line, and then I'm out again.
Well,
I'm good.
I go straight in, go to the borough, and sit down and have a wonderful meal with some fine folks.
I know you do. I
But
know
you
you
know-
do.
When you mentioned just now that it's the repaving that New Bridge Street is done,
Right.
you know what I would love to have back?
What's that?
Downtown Alive.
Downtown
concerts.
Alive.
Yeah.
Yes. I was with the
That's
ballet.
one.
I was
That's
with the.
Two.
I was.
Christmas lights across New Bridge Street come the 1st of December.
Yes.
Yeah.
From one end to the
Remember
other.
when the parade used to run from New River Shopping Center down to Court Street?
Uh-huh.
You know, the first year that they got Vision Cable sponsored,
I
with the
remember.
chamber
Yes.
and Leonardo the Ninja Turtle was the and Miss North Carolina were the Grand Marshals,
Really?
and it was on New Bridge Street.
Miss North Carolina.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I used to love it. We would go down there on during the evening after the lights went up and came on, and those lights they got along the side. They're nice. They're a little quaint. They're pretty. But it's not lights going over the street that you can
No,
drive underneath
That's
all
yeah,
the way down
it'd be pretty.
like a canopy.
It'd be pretty.
It was,
It was then.
yeah.
It would be today or
Yeah.
in December. Light those suckers up the day after Thanksgiving and be done with it.
I tell you
like
what, New Bridge Street has come a long way.
Mhm.
Long way. Remember when the Gima?
Oh,
was there?
yeah.
We walked from Thompson Elementary School to the movies
Oh,
one
that's
day.
a full 2 blocks.
What was no, it was a field trip for us.
Uphill both ways, and the snow was on the ground.
And it was, what was it? What was that movie? The Lions Sleep Tonight? What was the name of that movie? Born Free. Born Free. Yeah, we walked up there to watch
Lion
Born
Sleeps
Free.
Tonight. That was a song.
Well, no, I had it all confused in my head. I know that, but it helped me remember. Of Chris remembered when I said that, didn't he?
Yep. Sure. I do.
I went to the EWO one time, and I took my now wife there for the first time. As our first date, official date, was, and she was, I think, 15. I was like 17. So we went to see it. I thought it'd be a cool movie, Hawaii. Did you ever see the movie Hawaii?
No. I
You
didn't
didn't?
I never even heard of it.
Really?
A movie? Hawaii?
Not Blue Hawaii, just Hawaii.
Don't remember that.
Oh
Who was
yeah,
that?
it's when the guys came over, the English people came over to go to Hawaii, and they brought a bunch of missionary folks. They were going to save the natives. Well, the first thing that happened, all the natives come out in their little dugouts. Women, men. The women were what we would call half-dressed. I'm there at age 17 with the daughter of a Marine captain, and she's 15, and there was suddenly things coming off of them. I'm like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah." What? Don't tell your daddy. That was the first movie we went to see, was Hawaii, and it was at the EWO.
Huh.
Or a lot of folks who couldn't pronounce Iwo Jima, they called it Imajima.
Imajima, yeah.
Imajima.
Imajima.
Yeah.
Well, I lived on Twala Terrace, and there's
Yeah.
been so many ways to say that.
No, there's only one real way, Tarawa Terrace.
That's what you say.
Mama would go to Sears and
Blah, blah,
Roses,
blah.
and we'd leave there and go right down to Boomtown and shop again.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We go to New River Shopping Center.
Who
go to
have I
Peck's-
offended now?
That's Charlie. We go New River Pharmacy
Yeah.
to the little grill back there.
Peck's Bay.
Peck's
Then we go to Peck's
Bakery. Oh
Bakery
my
for hot
goodness.
chocolate
The Bucks-
and glazed
The
donut.
Bucks Diner on the corner, the sandwich shop.
We go to Roses.
That's where I go every day when I drive a school bus over from Jacksonville High.
I don't remember the store, but I always
To wait
had
for
that
the students.
lifelike
I always
Santa
leave
Claus
early
sitting there to
from
sell.
school. I didn't need to leave early,
So,
but I had nothing going on. So I'd come
It's
park
in the
over there
window.
at junior high, walk
when you
across
walk
the street,
by Tom McCann's.
and have me a
Tom
hamburger from
McCann's.
Bucks.
Remember that one,
Yep.
Will?
You walk through Sears.
Cost me about
through
40
Tom
cents.
McCann's to go out the back
Forty-
end.
I
40
remember-
cents cheaper than lunch at the school, and I'd always eat my lunch at Bucks.
My mama got me a pair of shoes at Tom McCann, and they were the ugliest shoes I've ever worn in my life. I tried my best to scuff them up and wreck them
You
as
got your
quick
shoes
as
in
I
a
could.
burlap bag.
Oh,
When you got done,
If
gave
you wet
a burlap
the
bag.
soles, the glue comes apart. Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie's back.
Hi, Charlie.
Hey guys, listen. So I went back and I was listening
mm-hmm.
to some of the stupid things that I talked about.
Yeah.
That's
But
it,
I noticed
stupid.
your other guest, I don't remember who's the gentleman that named a donkey after you. What's his name?
Tim.
Tim.
Yeah.
Is it Kim? Kim?
Tim is in
Tim.
Tango, India. Mike, Timothy.
Yeah.
Tim. Tim.
I apologize. Okay, Timothy. So I was listening back to the stupidity of what I bring to this program,
Yeah.
and sometimes I don't listen to everything that's being said, and I talk over people. But you said something that I didn't hear. Did you say that your son was murdered or killed or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I overtalked and I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
If it's not, dude, what happened to your son? If I can ask.
He was murdered. Him and his mother was murdered by her husband. And then he tried to shoot it. He shot at himself, and then he shot himself. He never did. The bullets never touched him. But he's dead now. I mean, he got two death sentences, and he didn't live to serve the death sentences. He died of cancer.
This is your son?
My son, yeah, the only biological son I ever had.
No. You're talking about your son was murdered.
Yeah, was murdered.
Okay, he was the victim.
He was the victim.
The
I
guy who
apologize.
did, the,
Yeah,
guy,
I apologize.
the guy who did the
Your son
killing.
was murdered?
Yes.
How old was he?
14.
Mm.
Oh my God. Oh
I-
my God. Hey, did you guys know this? I'm curious. Did
I don't know
the
if they
three people
know
in
or
the
not.
panel, are you guys aware of this?
Yes.
Yeah, he
I
told
was
us.
not.
Yeah.
No,
I-
sorry.
I knew a little bit of
Yeah.
it. I'd never asked.
I've had some stuff happen to me that I don't talk about. I try to keep hidden. It's just me. I didn't talk about that for a long time, and I remember a preacher told me one time. He said, "Son of God allows things to happen to you for a reason," and I will give this little spiel. After it happened, I got on one of my horses and I talked to God that night, and I said, "I will never talk to you again," which I lied. Years later, something else happened.
We've all lied to him.
And I apologized for it. So that's something I went through. But a preacher told me one time, he said, God allows things to happen to you for a reason. And he said, he looked at me and he said, your reasoning is you are not called to preach. He said, but you are called to minister to other people who have similar problems. I had never thought about it that way. But I have had people to call me that have had similar tragedies, because I've had more than one and other people have too. And they would talk to me and I would listen and I would give them, because I don't tell them I know how you feel, because you really don't. But I know, I'd tell them, I know where you're at. Does that make sense?
You knew how you felt.
I know how I felt, but people feel different. But I don't talk about it a whole lot. I will see my son again. I feel him now. I'll tell you, my son wore brute cologne. He loved that stuff. He bathed in it. And I have gone out and be driving down the highway late at night and smell brute cologne. And I got used to that, and I turned over to the pastor's side, and this sounds stupid. I'd say, "How you doing?" I didn't see him, but I smelled him. I've had somebody tell me one time I was in the grocery store. So your son walks 2 steps behind you every day. Well, maybe so. But no, that's it. But yes, he was murdered. Him and his mother were murdered.
Yes.
Hey, Rayford.
Yes.
I apologize. What's the gentleman's name again whose son was murdered?
Tim.
What is it again?
Tim, as in Timmy or Timothy. Remember the guy.
Tim Conway.
So, Rayford, can I say this?
Sure.
Timothy's an amazing human being.
Absolutely.
It's bizarre.
You got to understand this. There's other people that's had it worse than I have, and that's
No.
my
You're right. You're right.
You don't pick their stages of bad. Worse is worse.
I went back and was trying to find certain segments of the conversations that I had with you guys. And I didn't listen thoroughly to certain conversations because of my intoxication, whatever. But something about Timothy clicked in my brain. This is a unique individual. I think you should make him. I'm a fan of everybody on your cast right now, all of you. All four of you right now. It's a brilliant cast. Obviously, you guys know who my favorite person is. It's a great cast of characters. But I genuinely, I feel so bad for what happened, obviously, to your son and what emotionally you're dealing with. I can't even fathom what he went through or what you're going through. It's truly amazing.
Well, yeah, but other people have gone through stuff worse than I have. So far, I've only had skin cancer. I've had people who've had lung cancer who never smoked. I've had people who have had heart attack. Rayford's had heart problems. I've had heart problems. I even gave Rayford a little bit of advice when he had bypass surgery. He had quadruple. I had triple. But I gave him a few things to look for. And
you're an amazing. You're a very.
I don't think so.
Being. Yeah, I know. I know so.
I mean, I think Chris is amazing people. I knew about it, but I never really contemplated the race across America. And now me and my wife we donate.
Yeah, I know. But hold on. When he was 14 years of age, all 3 of the people in front of you, all of them have had horrific things happen to them. They've experienced really bad things. But to lose a child, and I'm not sure if the 3 of them have ever lost a child, that's a horrible thing to have to do. Now, hold on. That's a psychological thing that's got to be really intense. 14 years of age. You lost your child. I feel so bad for you. And I feel bad for what your child had to go through. I genuinely mean that.
Well, I appreciate it. But I got 3 friends sitting right here in front of me, and that helped me through it. Not particularly these 3, but I had other friends that helped me through it. And these folks, when I listen to them, we can laugh and joke about things and have a good time. Rayford introduced me to the Burrow restaurants, and it's the greatest ribeye steak in Oslo County, in my opinion, today.
Mine too.
And and it's just Chris with Reese Across America. He would be one of the greatest voiceovers. His voice to me is as great as Tom Selleck's.
No, he's got a great voice. But can I ask you a question?
Does. I mean, he would be a great voiceover for cartoons and stuff like it. It's great.
Thank you, Tim.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, what was your son's name?
Marvin.
I apologize. It broke up. What was it said again?
Marvin.
Marvin.
As in Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was Marvin? If you had to describe Marvin in 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, how would you describe Marvin?
Greatness.
That's beautiful.
He wanted to be a professional baseball player, and let me tell you something. He was mighty good to me. He could pitch. He could catch. He'd rather catch than pitch. He was greatness coming. I mean,
Would you describe him as like a kind, compassionate?
Very much.
Would you describe him as somebody that was assertive, somebody that was super intelligent? Would you describe him as somebody that? How would you describe another type of word for him?
Just that's the great. He was greatness. He was greater than me. I wasn't a big baseball greatness. I couldn't play baseball good. My daddy could. My daddy played baseball for the Army when he in World War II. He went around and played baseball for the troops. And he was a cook. My granddaddy, World War I, he could play baseball. My brother, fantastic baseball player. My sister.
Well, can I ask you this? Were you close to Marvin throughout his life? Were you with his mother? Did you guys live together? Did you have a close relationship with him?
We didn't live together all the time because, like, she was married. Her husband was the one that murdered him and her. But yeah, we were close.
Say it again.
Her husband. I feel like you're trying to be like a reporter. But her
No. I promise you, I'm not playing games. I'm not playing games.
No, I didn't say we're playing games. I mean, just she had married. So we had split up. She married somebody else. But no, me and him were close. And I used to tell him, "Don't worry about it, son. When you turn 18, all this will be behind us." But he never made it because we had problems. I had problems with his mother and his stepdad.
Okay.
I don't even get into that because it was terrible by itself, and I had to watch my P's and Q's.
So, guys, I'm going to be very careful how you say this. I don't want you to think that I'm goofy or trolling or making fun of. But the mother murdered, or was it like some sort of murder in the family?
Her husband killed her and him. Her husband, which he was my first cousin.
Is that like, okay, wow. Did you guys know this? I'm just very respectfully.
Yeah.
Very respectfully. Did the panel, do you guys know this?
I did.
Yeah, Rayford did.
I did not know.
I knew a little bit, but not much.
Rayford knows more about me than I know about myself. I can tell you that. Rayford, I'll tell you about when Rayford Brown met me, I guarantee you he did a background check.
First of all, I
did it on my future son-in-law. What do you think I did?
I ain't a doubt in my mind.
That's got to be so bizarre.
I did it on my daughter's dates. Every one of them, I'd call a friend of mine. Hey, run this down,
Charlie, when I was a single parent of a 13-year-old girl, okay? my daughter. And when it came time for her to do the dating thing, about 15, I said, I understand if it is what it is. I said, one thing, anybody that you're going to go out on a date with, I need to meet them in advance. I don't want to meet them the night of, the day of, or whatever. Bring them by, let's chat, and I will just talk to them, okay?
Excuse me.
Which sort of bothered her a little bit, but it's okay, not a big deal. So that was all. Went along fine until one day, I'm cooking, the doorbell rings. I go to the door. I probably had flour all over me. And anyway, the dude standing there, he said, hi. I said, can I help you? And he said, yeah, I'm here to pick up candy. I said, okay, for what? Well, we're going out tonight. I said, okay. Have we met? He said, no. I said, oh, okay. Well, we need to meet. Come on in and sit down. I'll be right back. I went in and cleaned my hands up. Came back and said, who are you? He told me. And I said, all right. So where you and Candy, where are you going? We're going to the movies. I said, which one? And he told me. And I said, okay, how are you getting there? Your mama driving you? Oh, no. I got a car. Oh, you got a car. That means you have a driver's license. Yeah. I said, let me see your driver's license.
I figured that was kind of.
So I headed for the phone. I called dispatch and I said, want to run a DH, a driver's history on this number. I gave it to them. Oh, yeah. And he came back and I said, well, back and whatever his name was, Bubba Bob. And I said, okay, that's fine. You're looking pretty good, but you've already had one speeding ticket in your 16 years here on Earth, and that's not your car. That's your mama's car. It's in her name, not your name. And just FYI, I'm not going to stand in the way between the two of you going out tonight. I'm sure she's getting ready, and she'll be coming out here any moment now. But every police officer in 5 counties has your description of your car. You will be on the route between this house and that movie theater. And when you leave from there, what time will you have my daughter home? And he said, sir, what time would you like her home? I said, the first smart thing you've ever said in your life.
Sir,
Oh, yeah. By that point in time, it was sir. So, yeah, but anyway, it was fine. And we got along fine. Like,
is that like a true? Are you serious? Is that like a true story?
That's totally true. But
Yeah, that's like something. That's like something out of like the 3rd season of the Andy Griffith show. You know, where Opie is going on a date.
It was funny. It was funny, and it was 1980. No, it wasn't 89. I forgot what year it was. Anyway,
wow, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Not then, but I'm talking about another case when my daughter came to a family function, and she came with this guy. His name was Marty, and
Feldman?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you his last name, but anyway, his name is Marty, and they parked out on the road, and I didn't see him when they drove up, and they came in, so she introduced me to him, yada, 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 yada. So then I guess she was asking around somebody, said, where's my dad? I think he's outside looking at your boyfriend's car. She said, oh, my God, he's running his driver's license, not his registration check. Uh-huh. Just to make sure I knew who he was.
Yeah.
You can't be too careful.
Okay.
And if I got the resources, I'll use them. You understand, right?
Sure.
I do.
Okay. He got paranoid all of a sudden, didn't he?
I think.
Charlie,
Yeah,
I'm going to leave you with one final thing here. There's a note written here that was left by a lady who was in here visiting us one day. And as she got up to leave, she handed me this piece of paper. And on the back of this piece of paper, it says, I believe you know my dad, so-and-so, and my aunt, so-and-so. I knew her dad, but I never met her aunt except at a crime scene where she was murdered by a piece of crap here in Onslow County in 1974. And he was one of 4 people that guy murdered. She was one of 4 people. And I had the unfortunate to meet some of the family members at that time under those conditions. So you never know who I'm going to bump into in the studio. I never know. But we've all got stories to tell, and they've got stories to tell, and some of them they don't want to share.
So I guess that's that. You guys have a good day.
All right. Thanks,
You
Charlie.
too, Charlie.
Charlie's an interesting guy, and I'm sure he's got a lot of stories to tell. And
We all have.
yeah, everybody does. And I'm not bemoaning anything that I've had to deal with or go through or whatever. That's just the way it
You
is.
live through it.
We it's life. We get through it one day at
Yeah.
a time. There are people been through a whole lot worse. I didn't go to Vietnam. I could have.
Like
I didn't go to-
reporter asked Trump, so what are we going to do about COVID? So we're going to live through it.
Yeah. Get on.
We
Come out
did.
the other side, and
We
we'll see what
did.
happens.
Some
Yeah.
didn't make it, but hey,
Divided a lot of people too.
yeah.
It does, still does.
It was,
Um,
I think that was the worst part of it, was the division it created.
Yeah, that and the lack of knowledge that
Well,
we
the-
really didn't have. That
That's
a
the
lot
people
of
who died.
people got hurt. That
Mhm.
didn't. I mean, that the effects.
Right. Oh, I agree.
Businesses and people
Yeah.
got
I
scared.
agree.
and
Yeah, the economy was a disaster.
Yes, it was.
Was there anything we could have done to prevent it? Yeah, I could have blown China off a map, I guess, about 20 years ago. But no, you can't do that.
Put your hands in one person. I'm talking about Fauci. I'm sorry. I mean,
They should have
Yeah.
cured that one right up front, but nobody did.
No.
Trump did not. Nobody else did
They
either.
didn't know.
He was just hey, let's just let the old guy hang around and die. No, Okay, we will be back again tomorrow. Do we have anybody coming in tomorrow?
Not yet.
All alone.
We may.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Well, tomorrow we will do naked show.
Naked shot.
You'll be doing that.
Under our clothes, we'll all be naked. Is that right, Timmy?
Yep. We're all naked underneath the clothes.
There you go.
And I am a sexy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm sure
Y'all
people
know
It is great to meet you finally in person.
Oh, Tim, I've enjoyed it. I really
I
did.
really have. I mean, I really.
Thank you for the compliments. And
I'm just saying, it's just. I mean, I love your voice, man. I'm
Bros.
telling you, should have made millions doing at least doing voiceover.
The
Yeah,
best bros now.
We're both
Best bros.
envious, aren't we, Timmy?
Yes.
I appreciate
Because
it.
this scratchy voice right here is the cause and effect of scarlet fever, but
Oh, really?
it's
That's
my
all right.
voice. Yeah, I was right after I was born. I developed scarlet fever,
Oof.
and the worst case scenario, the doctors came to my mom and says he'll probably be sterile. He won't have a voice, and
He'll be a hothead.
yeah, and he just and listen to me. But I got different voices. This is just one I'm most comfortable with. I made more money off this voice than I have the rest of them.
Today's been very educational, getting to know our friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow morning, bright
Yes,
and
we will.
early. And it should be nice and bright tomorrow. It should be
Yeah.
It should
pretty.
be nice.
How do you say that? Purdy?
Purdy.
Purdy?
Yes,
It's going to
purdy.
be purdy tomorrow. So
Gonna be-
have a good
As
one.
my wife says, it's pretty.
Pretty. And you say purdy. Purdy,
All right.
pretty purdy.
Say goodbye, Tim.
Goodbye, Tim.
Okay. Goodbye, y'all. We'll see you in the morning. Y'all have a
Have a blessed day.
talk. Have a great rest of your day and be safe out there. We're always awake, never woke. See you tomorrow.